What up YouTube? How feeling today? Hope you're doing great. Hope you're doing fantastic. Back with another Division 2 video and back with another banger of a build. Today we're gonna showcase the Pestilence. We have trying things out on stream like we do every time that we test out a build. And we came up with this build, or at least I made a few changes with it as well. But man, this is so much fun to play around with. I normally never play with LMGs, or not that much. Of course, the Dare was a lot of fun to play around with, but mostly I choose my SMGs or my ARs. That's my preferred weapon choice, but man, this Pestilence build, this is crazy fun. You can just shred people with your Pestilence as well, shooting them down. But because of the Plague of the Pestilence, that beautiful talent that is on the Pestilence, you can jump over ticks and do overtime damage. Then that can hit up to 1.3 million on this build. And this build is without proficiency. Yes, this Pestilence is proficient level 0. There is no extra damage out there, and you can still do up to 1.3 million a tick while it just jumps over and refreshes all the time. This is a lot of fun to play around with. You can just go around and just gunning people, or you just stack up that Plague of the Pestilence, sit in the corner and see that Plague jump over and take out every single enemy within the game. Man, this is a lot of fun, but enough intro guys. Let's jump right into the gameplay. Like always, I'm gonna show you some gameplay from a CP and then of course a mission, and then we're gonna jump right into the build. And of course, I have the timestamps in the descriptions down below. But guys, enjoy!
Don't get shot. Guess you chose the wrong cover. Damn it.
Center. That should keep you from being able to transport those mortars loaded with DC-62. Pestilence en route.
How do you like this? Deploying turret!
Too much fire.
Immediate medical assistance needed.
You're dead.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Grenade on the move.
And there we are, guys, at the build breakdown. Of course, as usual, we will start with the specialization, and we are using the gunner specialization. And one reason why is because we're getting that extra 10% armor on kill. And this is not only from our gun, but also from the stacks from the Pestilence. So every time your stack jumps over and you're running away, or you're in cover, or trying to get your armor back, if a stack of the Pestilence takes an enemy out, it will get your armor back. So this is a very, very efficient way to still have some survivability while we're running a full red build, of course, with the most damage output possible. This is why we're choosing for the gunner specialization, and I would recommend going for that gunner specialization because this is the only reason why. Every time it jumps over, you get your 10% armor. Every single time. So you can focus on a different enemy. The other enemy that's already debuffed by the Pestilence will go down and you will get your armor back. It's straight up a very easy way to get some survivability on a full damage build. And that's why we are using the gunner. Let's jump over to our skills. For the skills on this build, because we're running a full red build, we're running around with the Reviver Hive. Reviver Hive, of course, helps you stay alive when you get taken out, or you get swarmed by enemies, or you're, of course, running around in countdown, and then a door opens, everybody pushes out, you're dead. That's why we're using the Revive Hive, 10% revive armor, repair, 5% range and 10% health as the mods on there. Next to that, we're running the chem launcher with the riot foam. I love to trap enemies and then just open up your Pestilence. Build up those sticks so whenever he dies, it jumps over to the next enemy and he can get an insane amount of damage, up to that 1.3 million a tick. Depends on how and where he hits it on the body. If he has armor on there, or it's gonna be a health tick. It all depends on that, but you can hit up to a 1.3 million a tick, and that's why you need to build up those ticks fast. Another skill you could use is the Banshee Pulse as well. Because we're already running around with the Gunner specialization, you might want to use the Banshee Pulse. But I love them when they can just stand still. The Banshee Pulse is a very nice skill to use as well, but it disorients people. They walk around and they won't be at the same spot. The chem launcher with the ride foam leaves them at the same spot. They will be foamed, so you can easily open up your Pestilence and just shred them down and apply as much ticks or as much plague of the Pestilence as possible. On the chem launcher I have 9.8% in share duration and 1 extra ammo. So let's jump over to the guns that I'm using. And of course, because this is a Pestilence build, we're using the Pestilence. But the beautiful thing is, we're using a Pestilence that's only proficient. So yes guys, this Pestilence build can already do 1.3 million a tick. Imagine getting this to a higher level. Why are we using the Pestilence? Because this is a Pestilence build. Everybody probably knows what the Pestilence does. But for everybody that doesn't know what the Pestilence does, the Plague of the Outcast is the talent. Hits apply a debuff, dealing 100% weapon damage over 10 seconds. And this stacks up to 50 times. This is a debuff, guys. So this is not a status effect. This won't work with the Vaal, for example, or any other talents that work around status effects. This is a debuff that the Pestilence does. Whenever an enemy dies with this debuff, all stacks are transferred to a nearby enemy within 25 meters. And this is a great thing as well. But whenever the Plague of the Outcast takes an enemy down, it jumps over, it refreshes that debuff of that 10 seconds. So that enemy, the next enemy, will again get hit by that extra weapon damage for 10 seconds. So this is why you can just keep on going. You can keep on killing enemies with the Plague of the Outcast by only proccing to the highest amount of stacks, up to that 50 stacks. So in my opinion, if you want to use the Pestilence, foam one down, for example a biggie, and then open up your Pestilence and stack up that Plague of the Pestilence to that highest stack of 50. When it jumps over, it still refreshes and takes everybody down, and again gets your armor back. This is so much fun to play around with. You can just sit in the back. You can build up the stacks and then just wait until every single enemy dies in your feed, and then see it just jump over by you doing absolutely nothing. This is a great damage over time build, and it is a lot of fun to play with. This is my first Pestilence build, so I'm very happy that this came out of it. Then we have the Kingbreaker. Why the Kingbreaker? Because sometimes, of course, your ammo runs out, for example, or you want to just switch over to a different weapon because you already have the max stacks of the Pestilence. Then the Kingbreaker is still a very viable option, and this is a lot of fun to play with. You can go for whatever gun. I just have the Kingbreaker next to that because I just have it on expertise level 15. It hits for 155.7k on this build. So yeah, I can do some damage if I want to switch over, but most of the time we're using the Pestilence, like 99%. So whatever you want to do for your secondary, you can choose it. Then over to my pistol, I went for the TDI card just for equipping a pistol. I never use a pistol, only if I run out on ammo, but with this build you will never run out of ammo. And our specialization will give us some extra ammo every 16 seconds as well, so you almost never ran out of ammo. So you can go for any pistol that you want. Just go for a pistol that you, for example, don't have proficient yet, and it's just a cheap and easy way to get every single pistol proficient. But let's jump over to the build. Starting with my mask, and I chose to go for the Heartbreaker. Why the Heartbreaker? Because 2 pieces will give us 15% assault rifle damage and 15% LMG damage. We're trying to stack as much damage as possible for, of course, all the ticks on the Pestilence, and I still like to do my damage as well while shooting enemies. I still want to shred people down, but if you want to just sit in the corner and wait until the Plague of the Pestilence takes everybody out, that is possible as well. If you want to reach the highest stacks of the Pestilence, you need to work towards weapon damage and weapon damage talents and multiplicative talents. Those are the damage outputs that will boost the Plague of the Pestilence, and that's why I went for Heartbreaker. I have weapon damage on there, 6% critical hit chance and 12% critical hit damage, because I still want to reach that cap of around 50% critical hit chance and then go into critical hit damage. Like I said, I still like to play around with the gun and shoot people, so I still want to have that minimum of 50% critical hit chance before I go into critical hit damage. This all doesn't count with the Plague of the Pestilence, but of course I like to shoot, so I'm going for crit and critical hit damage. Then over to my holster, exactly the same, we went for Heartbreaker as well for our second piece, 15% weapon damage and 6% critical hit chance. And for the chest we are using Seska. Why? Because we're getting 10% critical hit chance. The rest is all maxed out, 15% weapon damage, 6% critical hit chance, 12% critical hit damage and another 12% critical hit damage mod on there. And we chose for glass cannon. Yes guys, this is a glass cannon build, so you're very squishy, and that's why it definitely helps out to go for the gunner specialization. And like I explained and showed you with the specialization, every time that Plague of Pestilence takes somebody out, you will get your armor back, and that is just a blessing, especially because we're running glass cannon. All damage you deal is amplified by 25%, but all damage you take is amplified by 50%. So you need to make sure that you're not running around just being in the open, because you will get taken out. But this is just the best talent to go for the ticks for the Pestilence. This does a lot for your Pestilence. And that's why I chose for glass cannon, and then of course on a Seska, because I still want to get that extra critical hit chance. Then over to my backpack, and that is a Walker and Harris. Why the Walker and Harris? Because this gives us an X 5% weapon damage. Like I explained, every single weapon damage, talent, or whatever you can add to your build, it will help out the Plague of the Pestilence. This will add a 5% weapon damage, so it ups the ticks. Again, this is fully maxed out, 15% weapon damage, 12% critical hit damage, 6% critical hit chance and 12% critical hit damage mod on there. And we went for Vigilance. Again, of course, the best damage talent out there. Increase your total weapon damage by 25%. Taking damage, disable this buff for 4 seconds. Because we are already running around with glass cannon, you do not want to get hit, or at least not as much. So Vigilance will be procced a lot of the times, and you will definitely notice that in all the ticks jumping over from the Pestilence. And of course I chose for the 5% weapon damage. That's why I went for Walker and Harris. And then over to my knee pads and my gloves, and you already guessed it, it will be the Contractor's gloves for that extra damage to armor. Again, this helps out the ticks of the Pestilence as well. 15% weapon damage, 12% critical hit damage, and of course that extra 10% LMG damage for Petrov, for of course our Pestilence. And next to that we are using the Overlord knee pads. Again, a multiplicative damage of 8% for damage you target out of cover. We went for 6% critical hit chance as a mod, and again maxed out on weapon damage. So this is the overview of the build, guys. I went for as much damage output as possible, but still want to hit hard with my gun as well, and still want to have that crit chance up. Because if you don't really care about the crit chance, then I will probably go for a second Walker and Harris chest to add an extra 5% damage to armor. You get more multiplicative damage output, and that helps the ticks out from the Pestilence. So if you want to go for more tick damage for the Pestilence, then definitely go that route. And there are of course a lot of different ways, so definitely let me know in the comments down below how you are running this build, because I want to work towards another build with a Pestilence that has a higher expertise level. I cannot wait to see those millions of ticks. Let's see if we can reach that 1.8 to 2 million ticks. That will be awesome. So definitely let me know in the comments down below what you are building and what are the max ticks that you achieved. I'm very curious. So let's jump over to the stats, guys. I have 122.2k weapon damage, of course, for my Pestilence, 0 proficiency. I have 50% critical hit chance and 117% critical hit damage with an 85% headshot damage. So yeah, guys, these are all the stats. Again, I went for a higher critical hit chance and a little bit higher critical hit damage because I still wanna shoot people. So if you do not want to go for an extra critical hit chance and only care about the ticks, then go full damage. But again, guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think about this build. This is my first Pestilence build. I didn't play around with much LMGs back in the day, and this is a lot of fun. Just doing damage with your LMG itself, and then that Plague of the Pestilence jumps over with those insane amount of damage ticks. Man, this is a lot of fun. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribers button. And of course the notification bell. PurePrime out.